Happy Friday, Bears fans. On today's show, we're going to dive into the latest Chicago Bears trade rumors, and there's some juicy ones out there. My name is Harrison Graham. Let's get started here. How about a blockbuster trade up for Marvin Harrison Jr.? I know a lot of you guys would like to see MHJ in Chicago. I certainly would as well if the circumstances make sense. The 33rd team dropped their latest mock draft. They have Chicago trading up for MHJ with the LA Chargers. And look, I mean, that would be box office. If you could pull off a Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr. draft, you would be feeling really, really good about those two new pieces. The only issue is the trade that was proposed. The Bears would get the 5th pick and a 4th. Actually, that pick they traded Keenan Allen for. They'd get that one back. For the Chargers, they would get the 9th pick, obviously, and then a first-round pick next year. And let me be as clear as I can. I love Marvin Harrison Jr. I do think he's the best wide receiver in this draft. You could argue he's the best and safest prospect in this draft. I'm not trading a 2025 first-round pick to get him, though. I'm just not doing it. Like, Rome Odunze is a good enough prospect, and you have a decent enough chance to get him at 9. And even if you don't, I'm not in the business of giving up a future first-round pick. It's just not going to happen. Love the player, future first, business stops there. Like, I'm just not making that call if I am Ryan Poles. Could there be other trades? Yeah, and we're going to dive into that in a second. But this one right here, I don't think I can get on board with. So what do you guys think? Trade up to get Marvin Harrison Jr. You get the 5th round pick. You also get that 4th as well for the number 9 pick and a future first. I just can't get on board. But if you would make this trade, type Y for yes. If you're with me and you think that's too much, type in for no. Again, I love Marvin Harrison Jr. He's one of my favorite prospects in years, but I don't love him that much. Like, I just don't. Like, you're just not in a position, in my opinion, to be trading future first-round picks just yet. Is this team on the rise? Yes. Is this roster in a much better position? Yes. Would it be disastrous if you did it? No, but I just don't want to. Like, I want to have a first-round pick next year. You do have 2 second-round picks next year, and I would do that. I would trade one of my seconds. I even said recently in a trade idea that I would love to trade a second to go up and get Marvin, because I do think he's very, very good and has wide receiver 1 potential in this league. The only problem is that it all depends on how the draft board falls. Would the Chargers trade down if a future first wasn't in play? I don't know, but I just know from my standpoint of things, as great as this guy is, as productive as he's been, as good of a prospect as he is, 6'4", 200-and-something pounds, route running, yards after the catch, all that, I'm not giving up your future first for him. Maybe you disagree, maybe you don't, but at the end of the day, that's how I feel about it. And, yeah, it's fun to think about pairing him with Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, but you might still be able to do that with Rome Odunze or Malik Neighbors or, hell, maybe you trade down and get someone else if one of those top 3 guys isn't there at 9. This isn't I have to get Marvin Harrison Jr. situation, especially now that you've brought in Keenan Allen. Now, this is the trade idea I have proposed before, and I'll propose it again here. I'll trade up from 9 to 5, and I'll give up a second next year. Either second, even if it's the Carolina one, which is probably going to be a top 35, top 40 pick, which is close to a first-rounder, I would do that. I'm just not giving up my only first-round pick next year. All right, more to discuss as we go along, but first, you got to get going with our sponsor, Game Time. You got Major League Baseball back in option. Go watch the Cubbies. You can check out the White Sox. Do so at your own peril. But I will say this, you're going to get the best prices available regardless with Game Time. There's nothing worse than not being able to get tickets in time or having trouble on different apps and not knowing where your tickets went once you purchase them. With Game Time, it's very easy. They give you step-by-step process, nothing complicated about it, and they're going to give you the best deals available. Last-minute tickets for the lowest price guaranteed. That is their motto. And listen, I can't recommend enough getting tickets on the day of the event with Game Time because they're trying to fill those seats, and they're going to lower those prices for you. If you see a lower price on a different ticketing service, show Game Time. They'll lower the price for you. Check it out today. Use promo code CHATSPORTS when you download the Game Time app in your app store. That's going to get you $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time and enjoy your favorite sporting events, concerts, bands, etc. All right, let's keep the trade theme going. Could the Bears trade down with the Buffalo Bills? They could. It's a big fall to go from 9 to 28. Matt Miller proposing this idea. He hopped on 670 to score. The Bills do pick way down there at number 28 overall. Now, the reason this has been discussed the last few days is because the Bills wide receiver room after trading Stefon Diggs is just not that good. So Buffalo could look to move up, try to get a big-time receiver like a Rome Odunze or something like that. Now, I'm already conflicted because if Rome is there at 9, I'd probably just rather take him. But just for the purpose of the exercise, we can kind of go through what it would look like. Miller referenced the Julio Jones trade when Atlanta moved up from 27 to 6 to go get him, and that was worth it, right? Like, he was the best receiver in football for a long time, but it cost. It cost them their first that year, the first the next year, second that year, and then 2 fourth-round picks as well. 5 picks in total for a receiver is a lot. And look, I'm looking at this. I need a massive offer. Like, if I'm even going to entertain dropping outside the top 10 where I can get a blue chip player all the way down to 28, I need something huge. Like, it's got to be massive. So this is kind of what I've looked at here. This is only 4 picks, but they're premium ones. 28 this year, first next year, 60 this year, third next year. And it's got to be something like that just for me to even entertain it if I am Ryan Poles. I might still ask for another pick in a future draft. Now, if you did do this trade, here is the updated capital you would have in each of the next 2 drafts. You would be up to 5 picks this year. You would pick up 28 by dropping from 9 to 28. I should say you're adding 60 in round 2. So you got 4 top 75 picks. You still have that 4th-round pick as well. It would really be paying off in the next draft, though, because look at this. 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, 1 fourth, potentially 2, as one of those 6 could turn into a 4th, depending on Justin Fields' playing time in Pittsburgh, and then a 5th as well. You'd have 11 picks next year in a draft that's considered to be much more deep. But again, even if the offer is that big, or even slightly bigger, I'm still hesitant if one of the top 3 receivers, MHJ, Neighbors, or Odunze, are there at 9, because that is a blue chip player that can help your blue chip rookie quarterback. Like, I'll put it this way. If you're trading down to 28, I'm looking to trade back up pretty quickly if I'm Ryan Poles, and I'm trying to come out net ahead, but there's no guarantee of that. So it's a risky game. I don't know. I'd have to be blown away with the trade offer if I'm going to drop 19 spots in the first round. Subscribe to the channel covering the Bears on a daily basis for you guys with the latest news, rumors, draft buzz, trade buzz, and a whole lot more. It's free. Join the movement. We're closing in on 91,000 subscribers. And then, of course, the big goal is 100K. Help us out. Spread the word. Share this video with a friend, and let's get more Bears fans in here. All right, let's talk just league perception on the Bears in terms of what they could do in the draft, not just as the team as a whole. Field Yates, has been he dropped a big article and was kind of just emptying out the notebook of stuff he's heard. And he said that NFL teams are eyeing the Bears as a potential trade-down team at number 9 overall. Not with the first pick, obviously. Here's what Yates had to say. What NFL teams think other teams will do in the draft should not be interpreted as gospel, but when I ask team personnel about intriguing opponents picking inside the top 10, 2 teams that come up are the Bears and the Jets. Why? The potential of a trade down. Chicago has just 4 picks right now, which are these 4 picks, 2 in the top 10, 75 and 122. So I could certainly understand why other teams would view the Bears as a team that wants to move down. They don't have a second-round pick. Yes, they've rebuilt pretty well, but there's still a little bit ways to go. But I would pump the brakes on that. I think the way Ryan Poles has operated and using the picks he has traded to get key players like Keenan Allen, Montez Sweat at the deadline last year, Ryan Bates as well. This is a top-heavy draft. This is a 3-4 round draft. This is not considered a draft where you can find great value in the late rounds. So if Poles is going to trade down from 9, it comes down to 2 things. One, well, how did the board fall in the top 8? Is one of the top 3 receivers there? Is Joe Alt there? If one of those options is there, I would think the Bears would pick. I don't have access to the Bears' big board, but that's kind of how I view it. And then what are the trade offers? If you are willing to trade down, are you getting blown away with an offer? Do one of the top 4 quarterbacks fall, which gives you big value with that number 9 pick? Like, it sounds crazy, but what if the 4th quarterback is there and Minnesota hasn't traded up yet? I am not really in the business of trading down with Minnesota so they can get a quarterback. But if they give me some crazy offer, like what if they give me 11 and 23 to move down 2 spots? I might do it at that point. So it'll be fascinating. I do think this, as we kind of wrap up here, number one, I don't think the Bears need to trade. They're in a good position. Pick a good player, or, if you're blown away, sure, you can be open to it. I do think this, though. Something crazy is going to happen inside the top 10. I don't know what it is, but some big trade is going to go down. And look, we know Ryan Poles isn't scared to trade, so I wouldn't be surprised if they were involved one way or the other. So what should the Bears do with the number 9 pick? Should they trade down with Buffalo? Should they keep the pick? Should they trade with someone else? What do you think? Type K for keep or T for trade. Go ahead and let us know. And be sure to hit that subscribe button as you head out for your weekend. Have a safe, enjoyable weekend. 2 weekends from now, it'll be draft time. 3 weekends from now. 3 weekends from now, 20 days. We're getting close. It's all a blur at this point. Can't wait for it. We're going to be your coverage for draft coverage around the Bears, so don't miss out. Bear down.